And so then I also want to check about a couple of things. That's what we do in the construction industry, and there's steel involved. That's what's probably in some of the floors that are in this building. But then I wanted to find out a little bit about the word soft. So soft, I like this phrase, a pleasing quality. But soft skills are not really skills. They are the qualities, attributes, behaviors of people. It's about how they are. That's what soft skills are. So right away, this confusion between hard skills and soft skills. Hard skills are about the things that you do, about your job, the things that really just kind of get you in the game, get you qualified to be able to perform a job. And I never think about just performing a job. I think about the fact that performing a job, in every job, whatever the job is an opportunity to be of service to someone. Because I adhere very strongly to Steve's mantra. And in fact, if you were to ever get an email from me, you would see those words attributed to Steve as part of my electronic signature. I say those words out loud almost every day. I say those words exactly in that fashion as I try to continue to persuade the tough folks that I meet in the construction industry that there's something to this. And I tell them how much I believe in it, and I really do. So I identified a few challenges, and I want to just share a couple of thoughts about in the time that I have. And the first, I want to say that when we're talking about soft skills, when we say things like this, and this is construction, best painter I've ever known, but he doesn't do well with people. Best painter I've ever known, but she's hard to get along with. That's talking about how they are, not what they do. Or on the positive side, phrases like she's great to have around, he has a great sense of humor, she's a real team player, or lastly, he's great to do business with. Those are talking about a person's soft skills. Craig, would you agree with that? 100%. Craig is a 100% kind of guy with me, and thank you very much for that affirmation. I will do some fact checking as we go through, all right? With people that have tremendous knowledge, much more than I do, all right? Okay, so I identified a few challenges, and let me just talk about each of them briefly. I only have a few moments, and the clock is ticking. This is the first time for this, Steve. I know I'm not very professional up here. I apologize for that. So the first challenge is this. Most people don't know what soft skills are. Now, not an issue for this room. Certainly, I wouldn't guess. I would not. We're talking about soft skills the entire time. Even as Alan talked about his journey, again, it's so cruel to have me follow that. And I could relate to his journey because I was born in Peru. I never went to Machu Picchu, but I was born in Lima. Alan doesn't know that, but now he does. We can chat about it afterwards. Yeah. But most people don't know what they are. So there's an educational component. And when you start to know what they are, you recognize, if you're willing to hear the message, you recognize what a difference maker it is to appreciate what they are. Challenge number 2. Leadership is an activity, not a label or a title. Not a label or a title. We all know in our lives people who are labeled or titled leaders, and they are anything but, in terms of how this audience and how I view what leaders are. It's an activity. It's something they do. It's about, the simple phrase is walking the talk, doing the things that you say you're going to do. And for leaders, it's demonstrating the behaviors, the qualities, the attributes of people that they think are important for people to be able to see, appreciate, and hope to be inspired by. So that's what leadership is all about. Challenge number 3. Communication is not just talking. We've talked a lot about communication here. I'm so sorry, I wasn't here Thursday, so I have just, I missed so much, and I'm so sad about that. I would have been here if I could have. It's not just talking. Communication is a skill. The fact that we're born, that our parents taught us how to say daddy and mommy, and we added to the vocabulary over the course of the many years since we were born, that's not all there is to it. In a simple sense, communication is talking and listening. And we've heard about listening as an issue, a problem, a concern. And that's probably one of the most underappreciated skills for an individual to recognize that A, it is a skill, and B, that you can improve it by practicing it. So communication is not just talking. Challenge number 4. We're contractors, we build stuff. No, we're not just contractors, we don't just build stuff, we're not just engineers, we don't just design things, we don't just stamp drawings. Every business, every activity, whether it's a community-based activity or for-profit business, whatever it may be, we serve people. We are in the service business. I say this over and over and over again. I was in Minneapolis for the first 4 days of the week teaching two classes, one on project management, one on estimating. And in both those classes, I harped on that fact, that we are in the service business. We're not just contractors. We don't just build stuff. Differences are a problem. I talk, again, some of the themes that I carry with me every place I go is around this whole notion of differences. The idea if you're different from me, that's a problem. I can't relate to you. I don't want to take the time to understand you. This is a huge issue just in our general lives, and in the construction industry, it's a particularly serious problem. To look around a room of applicants for positions in a construction company and eliminate 2/3 or 3/4 or more of them because they don't look like me, or they don't come from the same place that I come from, is a tremendous waste of opportunities. There's one thing, maybe there are others, but this is the one that I think is so profoundly simple and to the point. There's one thing that I have in common with each and every person in this room, and they have in common with me, along with every other person in this room, and there's one thing. That one thing that we have in common with each other is that we're different from each other. So differences are open a door to opportunities rather than closing it. Again, in our industry, where we're having so many challenges in the construction industry, trying to attract the millennials and now the Gen Z generation into the industry, specifically into the trades. Because we will continue to build things. Machines will not take over the entire building process, nor will they take over the design or engineering process. There will always be people involved in building and maintaining things. So recognizing differences as an opportunity, not a problem, is a fundamental shift that is very, very difficult. Challenge number 7. Influencing is more difficult than controlling. It's easy to tell people what to do. And if you tell them in a very, very firm and direct fashion, in our industry, your expectation is the person you tell what to do, when you say, do you get it? Do you understand me? And they say yes, and they walk out of the room, 9 times out of 10, they didn't really understand you. So the controlling person says, you screwed that up, and if you screw it up again, you're out of here. Rather than simply saying, maybe there's an opportunity for us to learn together how to improve our communication.